We're back like LeBron's hairline. You're listening to the Let's Not Do This podcast on Tuesday. What is this, August 8th? 8-8?
Sure. Yeah, correct.
8-8. Happy Aaron Rodgers Day to those who observe.
Boo.
Sitting alongside the three unwise men, we are fully staffed up tonight. We got the Big O, Leon Oliver, sitting to my right, wearing a Burgundy Washington Commanders football team.
Wrong.
Redskins.
Fake news.
Warriors.
I knew it.
Josh Harris Appreciation Society t-shirt. One
Wrong.
Ryan Dickerson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing better.
Better?
Well, I'm glad to be here tonight.
Nice, nice. The Palestinian hooker that was in your vehicle last week, did that whole situation get resolved?
Sure.
Okay.
Peace has been made.
Okay.
Hold on.
So there was, look, it was a scary situation. We didn't want to talk about it, but I'm glad that all legal things have been figured out and ironed out. You know?
Everything is knocked out, man.
Yeah. Chris, you have some thoughts on that?
No.
No?
No, I don't.
You know this is an audio medium, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No thoughts.
Okay. Well, he never has thoughts. Yes, I'm going to stop. And another Vladimir Zelensky-looking shirt over here. Sky Too Hottie, how are you, sir?
A black shirt? What?
He does kind of look like Vlad.
Yeah,
You could be a stunt double.
Yeah.
he's corrupt. He wears a lot of black shirts. He's little. Are you embezzling money?
You'll find out.
Do you have Hunter
Once we
Biden's
start
cell
making
phone?
money, you'll find out. I'm just looking to make sure you're recording this week.
Hey, the red light means it's working. That's what I'm discovering.
Yeah.
Someone that knows a lot about the red light district, one Chris Green. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you doing all right?
We had a good weekend. I went to a wedding from an old coworker of ours.
Oh yeah.
Very fun.
Did you get escorted out?
Almost.
Did you catch the bouquet?
I did not. I don't think they threw it.
Really?
I don't yeah.
What kind of fakakta wedding was this?
It was a nice one. It was at a very expensive country club.
Did they escort you off the grounds once you rolled up in your car?
No.
Yeah, how out of place did you feel?
Not at all, because I was with a bunch of elephant people.
Well, we don't like to use that term for that disease. I think they prefer gigantus, maybe elephantitis. I'm not sure.
You might want to describe what you mean by elephant people.
No,
Like
we're just gonna let it be.
elaborate a little
We're just
bit.
gonna let it breathe.
Okay.
That might be racist.
It could be.
Could be racist.
I'm
to a
sure,
lot of things.
I'm sure that's a
Yeah.
slur from somebody.
Yeah,
We had a really good time.
Was there? Did they throw the garter? Sometimes people not
No.
the garter. What the grooms throw?
It
The
is
garter.
the garter, right?
Yeah.
Garter.
Why am I asking y'all? I'm the only married one. Fuck if I know. I was too drunk.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't. They did not do any of that stuff. But we
Was
had a
there-
good time.
was
there was an unfortunate puking accident after the wedding. I'll let y'all guess by who that was.
I think I know who that is already.
Y'all know exactly who it is.
Oh yeah, 3/4 of this table knows the young lady in question. I'm sure.
Correct.
Oh, it's a lady. Gotcha.
Yeah. As soon
I
as she
had two or
said it,
three people I
I
had
knew.
mine, but
I knew.
I thought Chris had Jaeger again.
Oh
no,
yeah.
No.
No, he didn't have Jaeger. He was traveling in the backseat of your car.
No.
Chris, in fact, was a scrub that night. He was hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's bride, trying to vomit on me. He was a scrub.
Saw our old boss there. That was fun, Ryan.
Oh, okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay.
Was the new boss same as the old boss?
What?
That's a Rush reference there. The band Rush.
crickets.
The Canadian band.
Yeah.
Do you have Rush queued up?
No, I don't have. Well, there's this thing called copyright law. it would prevent that. I need this screeching like car crash.
Coming up next, a CCR quote.
I'm bored on the bayou. I love a little CCR. I can
There
get
we
down
are.
with that. Yeah.
There it is.
So, like the dude, the Credence. Stole the tape deck with the Credence. All right. So, but overall, you had a good weekend. Did you wear your formal gym shorts to this wedding?
So I thought about it, but I did not. I went shopping an hour beforehand.
My God.
Wow.
Was there a S&K nearby?
No, we went to Kohl's and Target.
Who remembers S&K?
Nice.
My girlfriend kept wandering off, so it took me a little bit longer than I expected. So I was late to the wedding, so I had to stand over by the bar. But I was first in line for drinks.
Well, there you go. What
It
is
worked out. It was outside, so got to stand in the shade.
Ah, lovely. Okay. Well, I'm glad you didn't embarrass yourself too much.
Well, I won't go that far, but We had a good time.
I'm sure you assisted in the vomit afterwards.
No, I was not there for that.
Oh, well, lovely.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who's not there, Jose Ramirez, he's not going to be there for the Guardians for how long is that suspension?
3. He knocked a guy out and got less games.
And he knocked out Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox. And how long did the member of the Pale Hose get for his suspension?
6.
6.
He got doubled.
6
Which
games.
is how many minutes it took him to get off the field.
If you haven't heard, what was it, Saturday?
Yes.
Saturday. I still don't know what all happened here. Jose Ramirez slid into the bag.
It started the game before.
Okay.
With something that Anderson did or said, and then Ramirez slid in and.
Well, they said Tim Anderson has a reputation for tagging very hard.
Yeah.
Like when he tags people at second, I mean, he like
And he
almost like
smacked
punches
him in the
them.
head. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's like just hitting people.
Yeah.
So Ramirez basically took exception to that.
This audio here, great call of the brawl, courtesy of Tom Hamilton on WTAM and the Cleveland Guardians radio network.
Right over the bag at first. Now Hosey and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
That's great.
Brilliant call.
So good. So good. Tom Hamilton, guy been around for a long time, one of the legendary voices, especially in the Midwest in baseball. That's a perfect call of that. And, yeah, I don't think you can clock a guy much better in a baseball fight than what Jose Ramirez did. Was that better than the Rugnet Odor shot?
No.
Yeah, because he knocked him out.
I mean, that was like
He knocked
one
him out.
punch knockout.
Yeah. I wish.
I like the Odor one more.
I mean,
feel
it
like
was
more solid.
cleaner.
It was against Joey Bautista,
Yeah.
which is better.
But
I don't know. Tim Anderson's
Tim Anderson went night.
he's an ass.
I do like his resiliency, how he came back for more and had to be picked up like a small child.
I
and
don't
taken
think
off the
he
field.
knew what he was doing at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
That's
but he
like
was still-
when an MMA fighter starts trying to heel hook the ref
Yeah.
Okay.
after he gets knocked
Yeah,
out.
like, thinking that's the opponent.
That was a better fight than the Jake Paul fight, wasn't it?
Allegedly.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it
I
either. but-
actually watched it, streamed it. Oops, no, I didn't. I saw it on replay.
I heard that. I heard that fight took in the second most boxing bets ever on DraftKings.
That's what I heard as well.
Yeah.
Drake lost
$200.
$250,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't bet on it. I saw the way Nate looked the way in. I was going to bet on him.
But does Nate ever look any better than that?
A little bit, yeah. He looked
I
like
mean,
he
yeah.
looked a lot like worse than usual.
Well,
It looked like me out there. Like,
Well, he had to pick up. Well, I mean, he had to pick up some weight too. I mean, like he wasn't fighting at 155 or what he normally fights at. I'm sure he was.
that's true.
Sure, he was like 200 at least.
So he was throwing punches like he does in the UFC, just kind of little
Stockton
like
slaps.
yeah, like
Can't do that
little-
with boxing gloves.
right, little pitter patter. Like the last couple rounds, he started like connecting, but I mean, he doesn't have that knockout power, not in boxing.
I saw a highlight where didn't he catch him in like a guillotine once?
He
for a
was
second
just-
He
and
was
put
just
his
playing
hands up?
around. It was
Yeah.
like the very end of the fight. Yeah.
He looked sloppy in the way. And did he have like jeans on?
Yeah, yeah.
He
He didn't
shirtless with
he
jeans
probably-
on. And
yeah.
it looked like two guys about to fight behind a Cracker Barrel in like Modesto, California. Like that's what it looked like in the weigh-in. I mean, he just looked like somebody's drunk uncle.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, he was a high uncle.
he's tough as shit. Like I was
He is
telling
tough.
Leon on maybe y'all saw the text too that Nate Diaz has never been knocked out except for one fight, and that
Josh
was
Thompson.
in
Yeah,
his
head
and his
kick.
brother like threw the white towel in. But I think he was gonna get back up and fight some more. Like
Hey.
like he doesn't know when to go down.
A lot of guys say if he fought to the death, he'd beat anybody because he's just so hard.
I believe that.
Yeah, he's just so hard to knock out.
Yeah.
Well, you go from somebody that would beat anyone fighting to the death to someone that can't beat anyone right now. And the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, they made a splash at the trade deadline. Did not trade one Shohei Ohtani, and who did they bring on at the deadline again? It was
It was a pitcher, wasn't it?
Giolito.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucas Giolito, who came from the Chicago White Sox, which, by the way, when that fight happened, there's a great video of him in the bullpen showing, like, kind of choreographing and showing the other Angels pitchers. I guess someone had texted him maybe, like, what was going on. And, yeah, he was kind of reenacting it. That was great. Yeah.
Is Tim Anderson one of the guys that just everybody hates in baseball?
I think
Yes.
universally.
What it
seems
seems
like
like
it,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
He's definitely not well liked. I know he's on Twitter a lot, and he kind of trolls people, and like he's just a very cocky dude that they say, and he just doesn't know like when to shut up. Remember the whole incident between him and
Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, him and Josh Donaldson a couple of years ago.
I feel like you might have been in the right on that one, but
there was talk as well that him and Yasmani Grandal recently got into a little.
Grandal smacked the shit out of him while he was in the hot tub. Apparently,
it seems like it was like all bets are off in Chicago. Who was the pitcher that was traded to the Yankees from the White Sox at the deadline?
He was saying that people were falling asleep in the bullpen.
Guys are falling asleep in the bullpen, missing meetings, like things. It just seems like it's Animal House right now with the White Sox, and their record is indicative of it. But
who's their manager now?
It's a first-year manager. It's a Latin guy. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
That might be racist. Because LaRussa was there, right?
Yeah, and then
he was actually wasn't he falling asleep in the in the dugout?
Tony was probably 3 bottles deep, allegedly.
White Sox players usually don't end up well in these fights, like old Nolan Ryan back in the day. Ventura charged him and,
took 30 off the top of the head.
That ended up bad. So
wasn't the anniversary of that like within the last week or two? I feel like I saw it making the rounds again online.
So they were watching tape?
Probably so.
Robin Ventura's
he felt
face.
Inspired.
with his face bruised Nolan's knuckles. Yeah. But yeah, the Angels taking on water now. They've lost 7 in a row. Things are going from bad to worse there. And kind of like the Pac-12 conference, things going bad to worse for them.
It's the Pac-4 now.
That's
the 4-pack.
Well,
it's going to be the Pac Zero soon.
As we record this right now, it's 7:43 on Tuesday. They might have lost more teams. Who knows?
Who knows?
So we're down to Stanford, Cal, or Berkeley, as the nerds like to call them, Oregon State, and Washington State.
The moneymakers.
That's a hell of a conference there. Corvallis, Oregon, Pullman, Washington, Stanford, Palo Alto, California, and Berkeley, California. That's a hell of a conference there.
Hey, big time towns.
And now and of course, this precipitated by Utah, Colorado, Arizona State breaking off, going to the Big 12, and then Oregon and Washington heading to the Big 10. So the Big 10 has 16 now, and the Big 12 has 18. I want to say.
Yes, I believe you're right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. They got to change names of these.
I was
going to
say, why can't they change a name?
Yeah.
The big whatever they have.
Yeah. Yeah. The packs just be the pack 4, the 4-pack. Craft beers come in 4-packs a lot of times. And that's craft beer country. Just call it the 4-pack.
No, Mountain
They
West.
They got to find 2 more schools.
Yeah, Mountain West is going to get probably Oregon State, Washington State, and either the AAC or the ACC is going to scoop up Stanford and Cal.
I would love nothing more than for Stanford to be in the AAC. I would love to see them make a trip to Memphis. Oh, my God. Just the clash of cultures. It would be amazing. Yeah, the ACC now, the rumor, the Atlantic Coast Conference is exploring adding Stanford and Cal, having preliminary talks. Apparently, according to Pete Thamel, they talked earlier today. Nothing voted on, just kind of a preliminary discussion. Ryan, I'll start with you. You, of course, are the lone ACC graduate in the room. You were there.
Lone graduate.
That's very true. You were there in Greensboro when the conference was founded in '53.
In Everett Case and Frank McGuire.
And they came out of the room and they said, what is it? The deed is done, I think it was the famous words when the ACC was founded.
Right.
And, of course, Virginia joined that December of that year. But your thoughts on potentially reaching out west for 2 schools with a lot of academic prowess, but nothing in revenue sports, so to speak, for the most part?
I mean, if the ACC wants to survive, I mean, it sounds like this is what they're going to have to do, unfortunately. Not saying it's the downfall of college sports, but I do think it's kind of the start of it, if it keeps going this way. Like I said, football is football. Like Patino talked about in his tweet about, it should be a separate football conference and everybody else should just keep their own conferences where they are now and keep everything regional. But I guess the money's the money. People are going to follow that. But I just feel bad for like the softball player that has to play, on a Tuesday night and on a Saturday, and they have to travel from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts to possibly Palo Alto, California on a flight, to play field hockey or whatever, and like nobody's going to be there. Nobody cares other than their family, more than likely. Those are the only ones that are going to come over from Boston to California to Palo Alto, and I just think I understand the money. I understand the money funds everything like that. That's the breathing, that's the air of college sports right now is how much money you can get. But I feel like the whole student athlete thing is being lost in this whole deal. Like it's almost like they're just pawns now.
That's been gone.
They never cared about that anyway.
Correct.
Right, but I mean now it's just like they're really just being
they're being blatant about it.
Right, yeah.
I believe a wise man once said, "Cash rules everything around me. Dollar, dollar, bill, y'all."
Sure.
Yeah, that's their hip hop segment.
You missed the word in there, but it's okay.
Yeah,
Cream.
yeah. I didn't know what that meant, so I wanted to leave it off.
It's the acronym.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Cash rules everything around me.
Okay, there we go.
Cream.
Oh, we might just got a YouTube strike for that.
Yeah, we shouldn't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
But so, you bring up a good point, Ryan. Eli Drinkwitz, former NC State offensive coordinator, now head coach at Missouri, actually spoke to that the other day during his press conference after practice about the student athletes. And, football is going to be fine. Football charters, football is going to be fine. Basketball is going to be fine. And in most places, women's basketball is going to be fine. But as he mentioned, what about softball? What about baseball? Like, a lot of those teams, they're flying charter. I mean, they're not flying charter, they're flying commercial.
Yeah.
And then, you got to go from...
Or busing it.
Oh, yeah, or busing
it.
In a lot of these times, these schools do bust.
And they said schools like Oregon State and Washington State are in real danger of having to contract. And they were saying that possibly Oregon State's baseball team, which is one of the best programs in the country, is at risk of either having their funds reduced or being eliminated. And I think that's crazy.
The Pac-12, they were getting $30 million a year for their share, and if they join the Mountain West, they get $3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
fucking crazy.
Big drop off there. And you're right. I mean, Pat Casey, I forget who's managing that program now, but Pat Casey built a beast in Corvallis of baseball. And that could potentially go away. You look at it's hard enough to get a kid to come to Pullman, Washington or Corvallis, Oregon. How do you do that when you have no idea what conference you're going to be in next year?
Yeah. I mean,
do the kids really care what conference they're in? I mean, as long as they're in a major conference, do they really?
No, I wouldn't think so.
I think you want to. I mean, Oregon State. By the way, Oregon State's a top 25 team. They got DJ Ukulele. I can't pronounce his name. Was it Uyungale?
Something like that.
That's close.
That's I always get it wrong. But they got DJ. They got a good defense. Jonathan Smith has done a great job with that program. They beat Oregon last year. Like, that's a program that's on the rise. And now, there's so much uncertainty. How do you recruit with that?
Yeah.
I feel like if you like traditional college football, if you like the little guy, I feel like you almost have to root for Oregon State this year to cause some chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, in facilities, I mean, maybe they've built these facilities and now they have to upkeep them, but now they're not going to have the money for all the upkeep or improvements. I mean, say they need to get a better practice facility. Maybe that was coming down the line in 2027. Well, that money's gone.
Yep.
We're going to keep this, old facility that, nobody's going to want to come to.
Chris is wearing a Virginia shirt right now. I asked Virginia football fans about facilities. Like Chris Long mentioned on his podcast not too long ago. I forget who he's talking to, but the McHugh Center hadn't been touched essentially since the 90s. Now, Virginia's building new football stuff and all that, but for the longest time, and Virginia's a school that has money. It's a school that has money, has athletic tradition, has resources, and it fallen way behind in the ACC race. What do you do if you're Oregon State?
You better pray that the ACC calls.
I think somebody will come calling, but once everybody gets who they want,
they already
they're gonna have to fill out their conference. So somebody will call them.
Is one of these schools the answer? Like, you have Florida State and Clemson already saying we don't have enough money, and now they want more money. Now you add, let's say, Stanford and Cal.
You add, and then the TV revenue goes up.
But see, that's the thing there. Okay, you bring them in, sure, the TV revenue could go up, but now that opens up the grant of rights potentially being broken, which potentially reduces the exit fees for Florida State and Clemson.
But the grant of rights is open, you renegotiate, right?
But that could give them an avenue to get out. That's the thing.
Or it could give them an avenue to demand just as much money as the SEC and not get it, but come close.
No, the TV networks have clearly shown, they're not. There was a limited amount of money. The Big Ten got it. The SEC got it. And the rest are just fighting for scraps. I mean, the Pac-12's deal was going to be from Apple.
Nobody's got CBS doesn't have anybody anymore, do they?
Yeah, CBS has the Big Ten now.
I thought that was NBC.
No, the Big Ten has NBC on Saturday nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I think this is the last year, I want to say, of SEC on CBS. Is it
Yeah.
last year?
I
Or is
thought,
it next
I thought
year?
it was last year.
I thought it was last
Oh, it
year.
might have been last year. Yeah, but yeah, the Big
SEC
Ten.
is all ESPN now.
Yeah, SEC's on ESPN. And Big Ten's, with CBS. And
Big 12's on Fox.
yeah, and Big Ten is on Fox as well. So you really see how things are kind of shifting down between Fox and ESPN, and everyone else is kind of caught in the crossfire with Notre Dame getting a bunch of NBC money. But I don't know. I don't know how it helps the ACC.
I think Notre Dame's money is going to be drying up here soon. They're going to have to join somebody. But ACC, they're going to add UConn and SMU as well.
There's nothing. UConn doesn't add anything except for basketball, and this ain't about basketball.
It's about TV, and they got a New York market.
I don't know. It's accent to the Big Ten with Rutgers.
Well, they were the dumb ones that took Rutgers over UConn.
And by the way, going back to Berkeley, Cal is like the most in debt. I forget how far it was, but they're the most like in debt athletic department in Power 5.
I think they were $30 million in debt.
Yeah.
Something like that. I heard that on the radio yesterday.
It's crazy. Scotty, you're a Hokie fan. Now, I know, reading and writing in Blacksburg don't really go hand in hand. I would love to see the optics of like the Brainiacs from Stanford or like the hippie dippies from Cal coming into Blacksburg. I would love to see the clash of cultures.
Where'd you go to school again?
A lot of places. I'm kind of like I've been in the portal a few times.
Not North Texas.
There's a lot of smart people. There's a lot of smart people at Tech.
Animal husbandry majors there. But no, seriously, like as a Virginia Tech fan, we used to be the belle of the ball in the ACC in football. Now, kind of come back
For
to
the first
to the
2
pack,
years they were in.
and then some.
Like the 3, 4, 5 years.
Did you? Is this enough for you?
You need to sit this one out.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or you say
Virginia and football don't necessarily go hand in hand.
Right.
We were in the championship game 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think Clemson is still scoring. That was in 2019.
Hey, we were still there.
See, Leon was witness to this.
That was the worst. It was the worst NC State team I think I've seen in some time in 2019, and we held Clemson for less points than Virginia did in that ACC championship game. Tiger Rag is still stuck in my fucking head.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there.
went to the game.
No. But was your team there?
No, we were
okay.
not.
There-
We didn't
there
play
we
in
go.
the weak ass Atlantic Division. We had Florida State and
There
Clemson.
we go.
Coastal Chaos.
Yeah.
The answer is what you just said.
Radford could win the Coastal some years. But does this excite you in any way? The prospects of the Hokies, kind of going out west like Jake Clampett, with all the stuff on top of the car and rolling into Berkeley.
Maybe they'll be able to recruit out there.
They got
Hey.
hillbillies in California.
We've been doing better recruiting this year. Well,
Have
they're
you?
actually trying. We've
No.
got some transfers and
Brent Pry has actually been kicking Tony Elliott's ass all over the Commonwealth.
I've heard
I've-
they're doing pretty bad.
Nah, I don't know what you're reading.
I know we're doing bad.
They've been getting guys from the state. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Just keeping the hometown talent, home state talent. Definitely, they're doing better. I think UVA has 2 kids from UVA, or UVA has 2 kids from Virginia.
Well, JMU's kicking all our asses, so
yeah, maybe.
They'll kick Virginia's ass this year in Charlotte.
we're going to find out.
But yeah, I don't care if they go out west. I mean, the only rivalry we really have now is UVA, and we beat them almost every year. I mean, like the Miami, we don't like that. It's not-
Carolina's developing into a rivalry for you.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, we used to have Miami, and that's kind of not that big of a deal now. I mean, so whatever. I don't care.
But that's the thing. I know the TV networks want to get, the big conferences, and the big conferences want to increase to get more content so they can make more money. But I guess ratings doesn't mean anything with this because, if let's say we get Cal, Stanford, SMU, I'll watch a Virginia Tech game. I'm interested in Virginia Tech. I like to see them play. But if I see, if it's a Virginia Tech versus Miami game, yeah, I'm excited to see them play. This is a rivalry. This is, But if it's Saturday, 7:30, and I see on my guide that Virginia Tech's playing Cal at 10:30 on ACC Network, I'm probably not going to stay up and watch that just because the fan will, the Virginia Tech fan will, but I feel like the casual ACC fan may be like, well, I'll go to bed or I'll watch something else. I just feel like some of these matchups aren't going to draw the way they think they are. But again, maybe that doesn't matter in this whole equation of.
That's a good point.
Stuff.
You brought up a good point there. I don't think they're worried about us. I think they're worried about the entire country. And look at the Big Ten now, where you have teams in the Eastern time zone, you have the Central time zone, and now you have the Western time zone or Pacific or whatever with those teams. You can put games across all those slots. You can essentially own a whole day, and now you have the whole country. Somebody around the whole country is going to be interested in your teams, in your games. And let's not forget the gambling aspect. Degenerates will watch and bet on anything.
Well, sure. I just think too the brands. I mean, like, if again another example, if it's Virginia Tech versus Virginia Tech versus Cal at 10:30, and it's USC versus Iowa, I would probably be a little more inclined to flip back and forth and maybe look at that USC team because it's a brand. It's, it's versus Virginia Tech. They're my home state school, but I really just watch maybe the better game or the game with more lights on it. That's the thing. I feel like sometimes to keep your conference alive, you're watering down so much in terms of like the actual, the brand name, how good the programs are, just to stay alive. But that may just be the game right now.
That worked for Big Ten until just recently when they actually got some big names with Rutgers and Maryland.
That's true. Well, this round of expansion is different than the previous one. The previous one was more about let's add these TV networks, and now is everyone's kind of cutting cords. Is less about that and more about like let's see what we can do to expand our brand across the country and our existing TV deals. Let's spread them out as much as possible. Like the Big Ten brought in Maryland and they brought in Rutgers. I guarantee you, if they could kick Rutgers out, they would. They have added nothing, but allegedly they gave them the New York market. But no one in New York gives a shit about Rutgers.
They don't give a shit about college football or college sports
in general. Well, no, I will say New York. They'll get into college basketball. New York is so
UConn.
big. New York. No, there's Q's fans there. A ton of Q's.
Syracuse and UConn.
A lot of Michigan people in New York. It's it's a good sports town. And just there's no one thing that's going to encapsulate that entire town. It's not like Nashville where there's 5 Vanderbilt fans and everyone else is a Tennessee fan.
Right. Memphis is still in the AAC.
Yeah.
Maybe ACC gets them too.
Jesus, you want to go to Memphis?
Yeah.
Bring your flak. Bring your flak jacket.
It's where all my favorite rappers are from.
Oh boy, it worked out so well for them.
I mean, they're millionaires. Yeah.
Well, didn't the one guy get killed? I don't know. I'm not going to go through it. All right. So and now, as Ryan has alluded to a couple times, SMU's name has been bantered about now a little bit in these last few hours for the ACC as well, which, remember a few years ago, the ACC, when they first expanded and got like BC and all, they were talking about Texas back then, trying to get into the Texas market. And maybe just try to expand, but this ain't 1983 anymore. No one cares about SMU.
Nobody in Texas cares. I went to Dallas, Texas last year to watch the Cowboys play the Lions. I did not see one soul with an SMU anything on. Everything was Texas or A&M. I saw some folks with Baylor. I did see Baylor, but no SMU. And SMU is the closest town to Dallas.
Yeah.
Fort Worth.
SMU is closest to Fort Worth, right?
Yeah. And you got TCU in Fort Worth too, though.
Right. SMU is the closest school to Dallas Metro. I mean, other than TCU, but I mean, I did see TCU too, of course, but no SMU. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's like you're saying. That's not gonna.
Not
gonna do anything.
Can you relocate a college like pro teams? Just move them to the East Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what SMU would probably want.
Yeah. Ask Wake Forest. They did that.
Yeah, they did.
Did they really?
It was in the 50s. They moved the whole fucking college across the state.
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
Wake Forest was in Wake Forest, North Carolina, which is like right by Raleigh and Durham and Chapel Hill. It was like in the triangle. Right. And then, what was it? R.J. Reynolds, I think, like bought the campus and they moved the whole thing out to Winston-Salem. It was like in the 50s.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's moved the whole damn college.
And everything.
Yeah.
Put them in Tennessee. They can use another school over there.
And no one cares about Vanderbilt there. So it'll be all right. But, all right, so speaking of, we've been talking about the ACC this whole time. We finally get some real live actual football coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Let's break down the Atlantic Coast Conference, kind of our initial thoughts going into this season. I'll start off. I think this season is a very important season for one particular coach. I don't think his seat is hot in any way, shape, or form, but just if this thing is going to work, there's got to be some improvement. And that guy is Tony Elliott at Virginia. I think everything that could go wrong did go wrong last year. And that's not even...
It's an understatement.
I'm not even counting the horrific tragedy of the murder of 3 football players. I'm not even talking about that. Just they just looked inept as a football operation.
Correct.
Last year. And part of it was you had a quarterback in Brendan Armstrong who did not fit the offense. It was trying to put a square peg in a round hole. A lot of turnover. I mean, the offensive line was, on paper, was going to be one of the better lines in the ACC going into the season. And then the transfer portal just decimated that line, and they were one of the worst, if not the worst line in Power 5 football last year.
Very bad.
And now, Fintrell Cypress is gone out of the secondary. He's gone to Florida State. They've had some other key transfers as well. They did get the quarterback, Tony Muskett, coming from Monmouth. Their backup quarterback, Jay Wolfork, has decided that he's going to concentrate on his baseball career. So Muskett better stay upright and better stay healthy. He's losing the recruiting battle to Brent Pry right now. Like, this is
allegedly
a big year, like, for how this tone's going to go. If this ship is going to, I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I don't know if Virginia wins more than 2 games this year.
Where did the quarterback come from?
Monmouth.
No shit. Watch out.
Hey, his last name's Muskett. He's got that going for him.
Where did your quarterback come from?
Well, to be honest, I don't even know.
Pretty sure it was.
One's Marshall.
It wasn't.
Yeah, Grant Wells is from Marshall.
That's better than Monmouth.
Not by much.
Yeah.
Have you seen him throw?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
We don't
my
need him to throw that much. Just run the ball and play defense.
that's my initial thought. That's my concern meter right now. His seat's not hot. Virginia, you got to do a lot to get fired at Virginia. It ain't nowhere near that. I'm not saying that at all, but just if things are going to start to turn around, there needs to be some improvement, and I just don't see it this year.
He came into a really shitty situation when Bronco just decided to fucking leave. There was no indication that he was going to do that, and he just left. So you're bringing in a whole new culture. You're establishing a whole new playbook. A lot of people don't want to play under that system because they were under whatever the fuck Anai was running. You're going to have fun with that this year, trust me.
Hey, I like scoring touchdowns.
We didn't score that many under him.
Well,
And I went to Q's last year. You didn't have them.
No, the year before. Anyways, Tony Elliott's going to be fine. He's got to get his people in there. He's got to get his recruits, people that he wants to play his style. So he's going to be just fine. Tony Bennett wasn't great his first couple of years.
It's true.
Yeah, but
You establish a culture at Virginia, you hammer away at it, and eventually it pays off.
Virginia football's been down for so long, though, and they've paid a lot of people that had to buy out a lot of people. And if revenue sports are great at Virginia, but eventually, non-revenue sports are great, but eventually you guys start winning in the revenues. And Tony Bennett's doing it in basketball, but the end-all be-all is football, and you got to have football money coming in.
Elliott's young. They're going to give him a long leash. He'll be just fine.
You can't be selling 4 packs of tickets at Costco for $99.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
No, I thought they were on Groupon.
They were on Groupon the past years, and they had those $17.76 tickets that all our Wolfpack fans bought up to take over the stadium.
That's your first impression for the season.
Yeah.
My first impression is Florida State better do something. Norvell has been there for a few years. Has he even gotten to a championship game yet?
No, Florida State's not playing in the ACC championship.
They always have one of the top recruiting classes. They got the best athletes in the conference. Where's the success?
Well,
How long is his leash going to be?
Well, I think last year showed the upward trend in the Seminole program. I mean, Jordan Travis got hurt for a while there, too. He's back. I mean, he's likely the ACC player of the year. They probably have the best backfield with him and Trey Benson at running back. Their schedule sets up nicely for him. I'm tipping my cap a little bit here, but Florida State is a team I think is going to cause a lot of headaches for some people this year.
They should.
Yeah,
but
they should be good. I mean, they still, like I said, that schedule does set up very well. Very, very well.
They'll somehow find a way to go 8-4.
All their tough games are at home, except for one, and they got to go to Death Valley.
That's the big one.
And if you can't win there, just like NC State last year, had a lot of hype, a lot of pub, got a good quarterback, could be player of the year. Go down there. That's kind of like a come to Jesus meeting. Either you can do this or you're not. I've seen teams go down there like Lamar Jackson when he was at Louisville back in the day. That's when you knew, okay, Lamar Jackson is the real fucking deal. Like, this guy can play football because he went down there and won. But I've seen a lot of teams come there with hype, and they just get knocked right off the perch.
Yeah. Florida State always finds a way to fuck up one of the 2 games that they should win by 30 points, too.
Yeah.
Y'all just took everything I was going to say, basically. Because I wanted to pick Florida State just to pick somebody else other than Clemson, but I can't see Florida State going into Clemson and winning. And like Chris said, they're going to blow some game that they should have won. And I think, Clemson. And if you're a betting man and you want to take a long shot, Louisville, their schedule, they don't have to play Clemson, Florida State, or UNC, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to try to make some money, they have a really good shot to get in the title game.
Yep. I agree. They're definitely, I think, are the sleeper team of the league.
That literally was, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, just because their schedule sets up so well. We don't have to play arguably the three of the top four, or if not the top three teams in the league. Yeah. I mean, that should be a cakewalk for them, to be honest with you.
That literally is my sleeper team for this year is Louisville. I mean, I think we started to see things kind of click for them toward the end of the year last year, started to figure things out a little bit. Obviously there's a coaching change coming in with Braum coming back to his alma mater. Quarterback is a little unsettled there. I think there's 10 guys in that quarterback room right now. They didn't have a lot after Malik Cunningham. After he left, he's working out with who now? He's working as a wide receiver. Was it the Patriots?
I don't know where he is.
I forget. But I know he's working as a wide receiver now at the next level, but there wasn't a ton behind him. Obviously, Braum is a QB guy. He's a quarterback himself, and that's a room to watch. They got decent receivers. They really beefed up the secondary as well. Storm Duck coming over from Carolina was a good get for them. Special teams, though, I think is going to be a real issue. Their punter transferred to Colorado in the spring, and then the punter transferred to Colorado before the spring. The kicker went 3 for 3 in the spring game and then transferred to Michigan. So they got a walk-on at punter and then a guy who's a kickoff specialist who will take over at field goals. But I don't know if he's taking 5 field goals in a real game. That would be something. So, yeah, special teams can decide a lot of games. I think Louisville's going to win some close games and lose some close games. But I think they're going to be my surprise team to keep an eye on in the league this year.
Yeah, my surprise team is going to be Duke. I think Mike Elko. Not saying again, I'm not trying to be critical of Tony Elliott, but I think he did like the opposite job. Like he took what he had and kind of made the best of it. And I think he's built that culture there now where they're expecting to win, like this year. And again, their schedule's a little bit tough. They have they have Notre Dame, which is I guess technically a non-conference, but I mean. Their quarterback, Riley Leonard, that dude's legit. If you didn't see him play last year, kid is a good football player. Very, very reminiscent of Daniel Jones, to be honest with you. Kind of that same build, a runner. He can throw, got a cannon arm. I know they have a good line coming back, offensive line coming back, and like one of the linemen are like all ACC guy. What's his name? Graham Barton is his name.
Yeah.
The defense, Elko is a defensive coach, so the defense will be decent, will be good, so I just think that's a team. I know I want to say I need to look at Florida State's schedule, but I want to say like they play Duke right before they play Clemson. The game is in Tallahassee, but that game to me is a
trap game.
Watch out, Florida State, don't look ahead of you.
That's the game that they're gonna fuck up,
because Duke is for real. I really do think they're one of those teams that just impressed me last year, considering that everybody thought Duke was gonna be bad because who does Duke have? But Mike Elko is a great coach.
Now, Florida State, actually, they open the Camping World kickoff at LSU. They host Southern Miss at BC. That's always a trap game, 9/16. That's a week after September 11. Noon kick could be the Wells Crowther game. BC is always tough at home during that game. Always their biggest crowd.
They're tricky.
Then they go to Death Valley on 9/23, take on Clemson. Okay. Virginia Tech at home on 10/7. Hosting Syracuse 10-14, 10-21 hosting Duke, 10-28 at Wake, 11-4 at Pitt, 11-11 hosting Miami.
They could lose any of those games.
11-18 hosting North Alabama, and then they finish in Gainesville. Then they finish in Gainesville against Florida on 11-25. That's not terrible.
My sleeper is going to be Pittsburgh. Love the coach. Balls to the wall at all. They run the ball. I got nothing. I'm going Pittsburgh, though. I do love the coach, though.
Yeah, Narduzzi.
Yep.
He's good. He's a good
Old
guy.
school.
Deion Sanders doesn't know who he is, though.
Deion has a lot of issues that might have traveled to his brain from his feet. So,
Oh God! Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I guess my sleeper would be Louisville also, because obviously I think they have a good shot of getting to the title game. But another team, I don't know if I'll call them a sleeper, but they're more of like a boom or bust, is Miami. They were very
That's every year.
disappointing. Yeah, they were very disappointing last year, but they have supposedly one of the best offensive lines in the country. And Tyler Van Dyke had a good year 2 years ago, and last year I guess they've shaken up their not the head coach, but like the coordinators and all that.
Now that's a coach that seats
on the-
hot as
yeah,
fuck right
exactly.
now. Like he can't have another 4-8,
Yeah.
3-9 because
They could be a team that can get
out
hot and make some noise, or they can finish at the bottom of the league. I mean,
Sure,
we'll see.
yeah. I mean, like you're saying, they have the talent. You know, they should have the recruits. Like they're in Florida, so it shouldn't be a talent thing. It's more just getting the players to play together.
And skipping back to what Chris said about Pitt, Phil Jerkovic coming over from BC to be the quarterback replacing
What a last
Keaton
name.
Slovis.
Love that guy.
Jerkovic,
I'm gonna get a jersey.
Making his tour around ACC schools and ACC adjacent schools. This guy started at Notre Dame, transferred to BC, and now is at Pitt, which is where he's from originally. And Keaton Slovis, who was at Pitt, didn't he go to – where did he go? He was at SC.
USC.
Then he
all
was
over
at
the place,
Pitt. And then he transferred somewhere else this year, I want to say. Chris, can you Google that? Where did Keaton Slovis go?
No, I'm too drunk.
Slovis went to.
It wasn't West Virginia, was it?
It is West Virginia. I'm 90% sure.
He went to West Virginia?
I think so.
Taking
West
over-
Virginia has a new quarterback.
Said, eat
BY
shit, Pitt.
BYU.
BYU.
Slovis went to BYU. Okay.
That's weird.
That's a how do you start off life at Southern Cal and you wind up life at BYU? That's a culture shock.
Yeah.
Maybe Pittsburgh prepared him for a nice
Bad
Mormon
decisions.
lifestyle. Yeah. My team that I feel is going to disappoint this year, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a hater, is North Carolina. I'm not completely sold on Drake May. He's very, very talented.
I think you're just a hater.
I have a lot of questions about that secondary. Who's going to run the ball as well? They had a good run game a couple of years ago in British Brooks. I know he put up a lot of yards against State in the game before he got hurt. There's a lot of questions about that defense. We've seen Carolina lose some shootout games before. They got to step up and play some form of defense. Storm Duck left in the portal and went to Louisville. Now they have the target on their back. It's weird. I kind of see them as this year's NC State, where it's a team that had a lot of hype going into the season, a team with a lot of lofty expectations, and I don't see a lot of depth in that quarterback room behind Drake May, and we found that out last year with State when Devin Leary went down. If something happens to him, I don't know who takes over. I don't know who takes the reins of that thing, and I could see a season where everyone's talking about potentially ACC championship game turning into an 8-win, 7-win season. And I don't know. And how much coaching is Mac Brown really doing? He's the ultimate CEO at this point, right now. And I think this guy probably just sits around and fundraises and lets the coordinators coach right now. But I have questions about Carolina.
I agree with you. I'm not. I'm just gonna kind of regurgitate what you just said. But yeah, I'm not jazzed at North Carolina. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna be terrible this year, but I mean, people are talking about them being 10-2, 11-1, or whatever, and I mean, Drake May got sacked 40 times last year. I don't know if I mean again, me being an NC State guy, I mean, me and Leon saw that game and NC State was just putting him on his ass pretty much the whole game. Like that's not sustainable.
I think Drake Thomas just hit him again.
Right, yeah. The dude is getting his butt kicked. One, he's going to get hurt. But two, I think you're going to start affecting his confidence, his swag. When you think you're going to get hit, you kind of start seeing ghosts as – who said that in the NFL?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold,
yeah.
Yeah, you start seeing ghosts. I mean, that's got to improve, and their defense got to improve. They, again, if he's got to drop back a bunch of times because they're in shootouts, and he's more liable to get hit. So I mean, I think Carolina, they're putting a lot on Drake May, but again, they're not going to be a terrible team, but I just see them struggling a little bit more than people expect.
Two last things on Carolina. They did lose their offensive coordinator, Phil Longo. He left to go to Wisconsin to go out there with Luke Fickell. So you got Chip Lindsey taking over there. And also Carolina gave up the most points in the ACC last year, 30.8 points a game.
Damn.
That is a lot. And they do have 8 starters back, but you got a lot of starters that came back on a bad defense. Shit is still shit 1 year later, So how much coaching is going to get coached up there? We'll see. Scotti, your disappointment, and why is it Virginia Tech?
I'm going to keep the hateration going. Going to pick UVA.
I mean,
Expectations are very low, but they will not win an ACC game.
wow.
Not one ACC game. They will lose all their conference games.
Hey,
So how many games do you think they're going to win? Just overall?
Probably just one.
I was listening to the Ovius and Giglio podcast, and Joe Giglio
Let me look at
is no fan of Virginia. I think Giglio hates Virginia more than any other ACC school, and him and Ovius both were questioning, will Virginia win a single game this year?
Come on, they're going to win a game.
That's a little crazy.
Okay, let's look at their schedule.
It's a little crazy.
Tennessee,
Blowout loss.
28-point underdogs.
In Nashville.
Yeah.
JMU.
At home, first game after the tragedy,
Loss.
energy's going to be through the roof.
That has to be a win for them.
That's a loss.
All right, and then they got at Maryland.
Loss.
All right, and we're not going to talk about the conference games because
And then we got William and Mary.
at home against William and Mary, that's the only
That's a
win.
very good
That's
Mike
the only win
London.
I'm giving them.
It's a good team.
That's a very
And they
good
could
Mike
lose.
London
Yeah,
coach.
they could lose
FCS
that
team.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike London revenge game.
Good, sure.
You skipped about the Boston College game on the road, which BC.
No, I said just out of conference because I already said they're not winning a game. In conference.
I think the
We
big
played Georgia Tech this year.
that's a feisty Yellow Jacket team, especially at the end of that year. They got better.
If y'all do win one conference game, that will be it. But
I really do think that Tony Elliott has to keep the wheels on the tracks in that Tennessee game. If they get blown out, 55-14 or something like that, it's going to be rough trying to play JMU the next week.
I think the JMU game is the one that the season hinges on. I think Tennessee can whoop our ass and we'll be fine because we're coming back at first home game after the season was canceled. The energy is going to be
It should be.
unreal.
You just the thing I
They're
worry
going
about
to
is
do something special beforehand.
Well, that's the thing. I hope that UVA does enough that Tony Elliott can say, "Hey guys, we got beat, but we did this well. We did this well. So they can build on it. That he doesn't have to build it back from scratch."
Yeah.
And say, hey guys, like basically burn the tape type of thing. Try to, you have to build that momentum. No doubt there'll be a lot of emotion but still you got to play the game, to win the game,
Listen, I can't think of a worse situation for, how that season ended, obviously in the terrible tragedy, and your first competitive football game against guys wearing other uniforms is against Tennessee. And, okay, it's not in Neyland. Shit, it's in Nashville.
Yeah,
and you're playing in Tennessee. And albeit, there's no Jalen Hyatt, there's no Hendon Hooker. That's still a very deep, very talented. Virginia and Tennessee could not be further apart right now from a talent level. These are two teams that shouldn't be, these states shouldn't border each other in football right now, much less play each other.
Relax.
And Tennessee will score 60 in this game. There's no doubt in my mind. And the key is, as Ryan said, though, I think it was you, Chris, getting back up the following week. But JMU's hungry. That's a good JMU team.
Let them be hungry. They're going to starve.
That's a team that's out to prove that they're the flagship program in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, they're going to try. They're going to fail.
And then where does it get better? After that, you have Maryland on the road. That's not these kids today don't care about the rivalry. They haven't played in 10 years. Really between these two schools. But
Maryland was terrible last year. They're probably going to be terrible.
Maryland beat
again
State in the bowl game. They had a good run last year in the Big Ten.
Well,
faltered against some of the
y'all
top
had
teams.
no quarterback the last 5 games of the year.
Well, Maryland's that will be a tough game. Mike Loxley is recruited well. He's done very well with that Maryland program. The season for Virginia hinges on BC on the 30th because you're going to lose the NC State and the Brendan Armstrong homecoming, the Robert Anai homecoming. That's going to be ugly on a Friday night.
I don't
BC,
think it's going to be as bad.
If you're going to win an ACC game, it's BC.
You guys got an NC State shirt for me for that game?
Yeah. You want an extra ladies?
Let's go to my disappointment now that y'all are done shitting on my team. I'm cutting it off right now.
No. But Tech fans are in the same place. They
Yeah, Tech is terrible. Tech is going to be so bad.
We're not as bad.
But you cannot lose that Friday night game on, what was it, September the 4th or whatever it is, against ODU. Y'all lose that game, shit's all off the tracks.
Over.
You know, it's like Brent Pry's already into, like, you know, taking in water, trying to get water out, because that would just kill, like, confidence, you know?
Yep.
Not saying that they have a tough out of conference schedules. I think they have Rutgers and Purdue or something on their schedule.
Two losses.
They're winnable games, but that's a game you got to win to almost just say, hey, we're the best team in the state. We're the guys, not y'all.
Yeah. Hey, these quote state championship games in Virginia, you know, like they mean a lot to these smaller schools. We've seen William and Mary come up to Charlottesville and sting the Hoos a few times. Richmond's done it. We've seen what ODU's done to Virginia Tech. You know, with JMU beat Virginia Tech a few years ago. Like when these state schools have a chance to come and, you know, play these named schools in the Commonwealth, they're loaded for bear, and they're bringing everything to town. And I'm telling you, that's a better JMU football program, top to bottom, than Virginia right now.
We'll see.
My cousin plays for JMU right now. So.
I know.
Let's go JMU.
I hope he doesn't see the field and get hurt.
JMU.
Get a little time.
I hope he doesn't get his feelings hurt.
JMU will be favored for that game.
Chris, your disappointment, and why is it Duke?
It's going to be Florida State. I think the bottom three teams in the ACC, UVA, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, are going to have more wins combined than Florida State this year.
Wait, what?
Combined.
Okay. Yeah.
That's combined. That's not hard to do.
It is when they're only going to win 2 or 3 games apiece.
What teams did you just mention?
Virginia Tech, Virginia, Georgia Tech.
So Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech are going to have more combined wins.
Florida State's supposed to go 11-1. 12-0, 10-2.
This is a very good Seminole team. They've worked the portal. Mike Norvell
allegedly
has been
he's
very
not
good in
a
the portal.
good coach.
They've bought into what he's doing in
He's a
Tallahassee.
bad coach.
And he's got the best quarterback in the league.
He doesn't know when to call timeouts. He's Mike McCarthy.
I thought you were going to say Mike London.
That too.
Are you talking about conference wins or
overall?
No, that's you're
we're getting at least 5 wins.
You're smoking with Hunter Biden.
You're not getting 5 wins. Relax.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I think Virginia Tech gets 3 wins on the season. UVA gets 4, and Georgia Tech gets 2.
I feel like a wager should be made here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Between the two, between the Hokie fan and the Cavs fan.
I want pinks. I want cars on the line.
No.
Well, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
Pink
no.
slips.
I don't care. What's the bet? What is the bet? Who finishes?
24 pack of Stella. Yeah.
No. It has to be something that you're going to hurt. Anyone can buy a case of beer. Tattoos.
No.
Jesus.
You get a Virginia Tech logo on your ass cheek, Chris. If
why don't we just do the T-shirt thing?
Oh, okay. You got to do an episode wearing a Hokie shirt.
He's not confident at all. You should have seen his face.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
And it's of the podcasters. Well, Scotti obviously overrules, and you would overrule if you win. But it's of the podcasters picking. We get to have input too. So if we want like the ladies bedazzled pink one,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm
That's
down.
fine. Wait. So what is the bet though? Most wins overall.
Most wins overall for the
Okay.
season.
All right.
And we'll probably have to do something the week of the game for a little head-to-head kicker there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Someone needs
At
to
that
make-
point, everybody would
think
know
we'll
kind of
have
how their
it.
team is.
I think we'll have it wrapped. We'll have
We're
it
going to be
wrapped up
both
by then.
sitting at 3 wins.
Right. That
Going
would
into
be-
the last game.
That would be awesome.
All right, so we got some action on this now. We saw it on camera here. All
This
right.
one will actually be uploaded.
Yeah, maybe.
Assuming you don't get drunk tonight.
As long as everybody hit record today.
Fuck you. All right, and so championship game predictions. This is a weird year. First year of the ACC with the
It's just the top 2, right?
Yeah, just the top 2 teams play. No, Coastal, no Atlantic. Works out for NC State, by the way. No Florida State, no Clemson on the schedule there.
Helps.
I am going to go, and you're going to call me a homer. I'm going to
You
go
are a homer.
Florida State, NC State for the championship game.
Gross.
I think the Wolfpack's defense is they lost a lot of pieces, but I think they're better than advertised. Probably the best secondary in the ACC. Aiden White might be one of the best DBs in the country. I think they're going to run the ball better this year. I think you'll see Michael Allen be a bigger part of that offense, and I think Brendan Armstrong's going to have a level of comfort again with Robert Anai, and I don't think it's going to be the same cut and paste Virginia offense that we saw the last couple
fucking
years.
Hate that offense so
when they were
much.
together.
I can't wait.
I think there's going to be some wrinkles, and I think they'll find a way to work MJ Morris in at times. I think they're going to build a package to have him out there.
So many fucking halfback dives, and you're going to get 2 and 3 yards apiece, and you're going to hate it.
Well, we actually have running backs.
That was our running game last year too. So,
yeah, y'all have athletes. So,
yeah. Albeit once Wayne Talia-Papa left Virginia, went to Washington, though he put up some decent numbers for the Huskies last year.
Is that one guy?
Yeah, Wayne Talia-Papa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he averaged 2.3 yards per carry.
Well, Bronco
got 30 carries a game.
Bronco had his roots in the WAC. They didn't throw the football out there in the WAC back in the day. I mean, they didn't run the football in the WAC back in the day. But yeah, that's my championship game. And honestly, Florida State's like my dark horse, like surprise team nationally, like overall. Like that's a team that could be the fly in the ointment for the
You're putting way too much
for the
faith
playoff.
in them,
and I think Jordan Travis could be a dark horse Heisman guy. If everything works out and goes well, I think you could see Tallahassee start to feel like the 90s again.
I can't wait for them to lose their first 3 games and me to just rub that shit in your face.
That's my prognostication there. Ryan, your ACC championship thoughts?
I'm going to go chalk. I think it's going to be Clemson and Florida State. I think Florida State maybe the 1 seed going in because I believe that they're
Did they win in Death Valley?
That'll be their loss.
Okay.
They'll be the 1 seed, meaning they could be like 11-1.
Right.
But Clemson, honestly, man, Clemson's schedule is not that easy in ACC. They have a lot of road games. I think they go to Miami, which again they may or may not be good this year. They got to go to State. They have some decently tough road games this year. So I mean, they could take 2 losses. I mean, I could definitely see that, from them this year. But I think it'll be Florida State and Clemson. I just think the cream of the crop. I just think Florida State's going to win it. I mean, I'm sorry, Clemson's going to win it just because the pedigree. Florida State, again, they just haven't shown me enough. Last year, I remember they had a gauntlet of games that they needed to win. It was they played NC State, they played Clemson, and they played, I want to say it was like Wake, and they played them back-to-back weeks, and they lost all 3 games. And it was just kind of like, okay, you guys don't know how to win games. And that was the game. The NC State game was a game that Devin Leary got hurt, and they still couldn't beat us with a freshman quarterback playing, basically. Or not even freshman quarterback. It was our second stringer who was terrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Jack
like,
Chambers.
Yeah, I just need to see them win the big game. It could be LSU could convince me, and they played them earlier in the first game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I mean,
you think they're going to win that game?
Do I think Florida State's going to be LSU?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Oh, and I misspoke, by the way. State does have Clemson this year. I'm brain farting. I was thinking about another version of the ACC schedule.
Okay.
It's 10-28. State
change your pick?
State has Clemson in Raleigh. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
So, for the championship game, is it an overall record or is it just conference record?
Conference records.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mine is Clemson, Florida State.
Yeah.
Well, I gave mine away already. It was Clemson over Louisville. I think that Clemson Florida State game, I think whoever wins that is going to get in. But I don't think Florida State's going in to Death Valley and beating Clemson. And then Florida State's going to drop it 1 or 2 more games. And I think Louisville will get in. I think Cade Klubnik, is it Klubnik?
Klubnik, yeah.
Okay. I think he's going to take a major step forward. And
Yeah, he's good.
I just think they got better athletes than everybody. And they've been there before. They have the coaching.
We're seeing a lot of
chalky, but yeah.
A lot of remnants of the old Atlantic division here in these picks.
I'm going Clemson UNC just to spite you.
Does Mac Brown know when the championship game is?
Doesn't matter. He'll show up.
We saw Carolina fold.
They got the best quarterback in the country.
In the country.
In the country?
Caleb Williams,
There's
sir.
a guy out in L.A. that's
Like to have a word.
Wait a second, sir.
Yeah.
He's got a bum wheel.
Maybe the best quarterback east of California.
All right. Second best quarterback in the country.
Sam Hartman would like to have a word. He's not a pro quarterback, but he's a very good college quarterback. And with that line in South Bend,
He can sit the fuck down in Notre Dame.
Not a Sam Hartman fan, we see.
No.
He's good. I think it's.
He's fine,
I think
but
it's the
he's no
system
Drake
more
May.
than.
well, we'll see what he does with the new
Clemson
system.
UNC. Book it.
So Clemson will another repeat of the ACC championship game. They'll just stomp the living dog shit out of them once again. Carolina folded like a cheap suit, like down the road at the end of the year last year, losing the state. They got blown out in the ACC championship game. They lost to Georgia Tech. That was like probably the most inexplicable like loss in the ACC last year. Like Carolina losing to Georgia Tech. I just don't trust that team. I just something about them. I just don't trust at all. We'll see. They got to play some semblance of defense. So.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of playing defense, if you want to defend your solar system, make sure to contact local astronauts. You need an astronaut. They're local. No, seriously, though, if you want to sponsor this podcast, reach out, send the email to Scotti, S-O-C-I-O-S-C. How the fuck do you spell your name?
Are we really trusting Scotty with money?
Scotti.
Didn't we establish that he was an embezzler at the beginning of the podcast?
Well, Ryan's got shady offshore accounts. So I damn sure
I was going to say,
trust
it would
you.
be me or Ryan that trust the money with.
Definitely Ryan.
Well, so what if I spend it on hookers and blow?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Never see Leon again.
Yeah.
Face down.
We get a $200 check. Leon's dead and fucking.
I'm going to Tijuana.
It's gone immediately.
Atlantic City somewhere.
If you were like
face down in the Jersey Shore.
First time we make any money on this. Hey, you guys want to go to the bar?
pretty much drink all the profits.
I'm buying.
If you want to sponsor this monstrosity of a podcast and maybe even have us out to your establishment, we do bring a crowd. We do have several alcoholics that do follow this podcast.
We have a lot.
Send an email to Scotti, S-C-O-T-T-I.
Just no E.
Yeah.
That
No
would be a
E.
girl.
Blame my mom for that.
Yeah,
Shit.
at let's not do this podcast.com or just shoot us a message on one of the socials there. All
Yeah,
right.
the socials are probably better.
Switching gears here as we cross the 1 hour mark on this
Holy
podcast.
shit.
NFC South.
Damn. It's been an hour.
Yeah. Football. This is what's going to be during football
We
season.
haven't put out a video in like 3 weeks. So.
Yeah.
2
Ass clown.
2 weeks. First of all, don't blame me. Blame the equipment.
I'm going to blame you.
Blame the equipment. I'll show you the video.
They were drinking.
It was bad.
They were drinking.
Week I'm not here.
I
Shit
know.
just
This
goes
shit's all goes
off the track. Man.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you didn't have
It
the
was going to be a short video anyways.
Palestinian. Hey, I was in the interest of bandwidth, and I was being green. That's less electricity used.
I'm paying for the
And Lance-
upgraded.
Lance actually sat
bandwidth,
in.
You fuck.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he sat in and then
For the first 30 minutes.
like 45 minutes into it,
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot to record, and Lance was like, fuck this.
Right. I'm not doing this again.
Listen, what Blanche does in his free time, I can't be subjected to, okay? Well, we will be subjected to some bad football in the South divisions of the NFL this year. And to kick off our NFL previews, that's what we'll start in the respective AFC and NFC South divisions. Start on the NFC side of the ball here. This may be the worst division in football this year, no?
I think so, yeah.
Probably.
I'd go with it, yeah.
We have the ever
It's awful.
enthralling Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask quarterback battle in Tampa Bay.
Speaking of which, did you see their depth chart?
No.
So
They're
they had
both
to release.
listed as
Yeah,
starters.
so it's like Baker Mayfield is first, and then it says or Kyle Trask.
Okay, so we got a good old-fashioned quarterback battle.
Yep.
All right. We don't have enough training camp quarterback
I don't know if you
battles.
call it a battle, but yeah.
Then Atlanta going with the young guy and Bryce Young there. I see what I did there.
No,
Nope.
that'd be Desmond Ritter.
Excuse me. Carolina going with the young guy there. Atlanta going young as well with Desmond Ritter. And then New Orleans, which may be the most intriguing team to me.
They got the best quarterback.
Trying to catch lightning in the bottle again with Jimmy Graham signing his tight end, and now you have a very scorned Derek Carr motivated at quarterback. But now Alvin Kamara is suspended for the first 3 games?
3.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, they thought they were gonna
Lose
get
him
more
for
than
longer.
That. Yeah.
So, Scotty, I'll start off with you this time in your Vladimir Zelensky apparel. Your thoughts and prognostications for the NFC South.
I'm going with the Saints. I don't really like the Saints. I don't like their coach. But like you said, that division is so bad. I think they have a lot of young teams. Like the Falcons, I think will give them a run for their money, but they're just not ready yet. I think maybe next year or the year after, they'll be ready to be in contention for that division. But the Saints, it looks like they're going all in for this year. This is probably their 1-year window. I just think they have too much talent to not win this division. They'll lose in the first round of the playoffs, but like I said, Tampa's got Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Like, what are you going to do with that? And then Carolina is just too young. Bryce Young I think he'll be decent this year, but it's going to take him a year or two to reach his potential. And you got the Falcons. The Falcons, they could surprise the Saints, but I just don't think they're ready yet. So, I mean, I got to go with the Saints just out of by default, basically.
Christopher, did you study the rosters to find out what team has the weirdest sounding names to make your pick?
No, I'm going to agree with Scotti. I hate the Saints coach. I think he's terrible, but they have by far the best quarterback. Quarterbacks win you games. So I'm going with the Saints.
Right.
I hate to agree with these two guys, but I'm going with the Saints again. I think quarterback play is going to make the difference in this division because I don't think there's a lot of difference between other aspects on the teams. I think, nobody's offensive line is really great. Nobody's defense is really great. But I think the quarterback's going to make the difference. I mean, I think New Orleans has,
really good skill players.
Skill player-wise, Olave, if Michael Thomas can make any type of comeback, Alvin Kamara, they have the better skill players, I would say that, than Atlanta, than Carolina, than Tampa Bay. So, overall. Right. So, I just think it's the Saints to lose. I'm sure it'll be an ugly division. They'll start off like whatever. They'll start off 3-6 and somehow win it. But I just think that Derek Carr, right, will figure it out before the end of the season. Again, I'm still, even though people give Derek Carr shit, I'm still impressed that year. A couple of years ago when they made the playoffs when John Gruden got fired and had the special teams coach they still somehow navigated and got into the playoffs.
Rich Versace.
Yeah, Rick Versace.
I think their ceiling is 10 wins. I think everybody else's ceiling is probably 6 or 7. So
yeah.
I think this division winner could come out of here with a losing record this year. Probably. We can see an 8-9 team win this division. I'm going off the beaten path. I'm going Carolina. I think they're solid up the middle. They rebuilt the offensive line. Big Ike Ekwonu on there. They nailed the defensive side of the ball. I feel like, especially up the middle on the line. That's where the game is won, in the trenches. And then I think if they
might have the best coach.
Yeah, and if they can run the ball and not ask Bryce Young to do everything, especially at first, ease him into the season.
He's your height, so.
But if they can ask him to not do everything, not put too much on him, and keep him upright. And the biggest thing is, it's football cliche, but just not turn the ball over, not beat themselves. This is a division where things are wacky enough. It could shake down. I could see Carolina winning this thing and coming out with an 8-9 record and winning this division.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be
I
pretty.
can see that. But, 8 wins for Carolina.
Definitely it concerns me that, I know they have to do this to get Bryce Young, but they'll have to have a number one receiver step up.
They don't have anybody.
Yeah, Thielen's their number one
he's
right
washed.
now.
Yeah.
And I think he's washed. Getting rid of DJ Moore, I think, hurts them. But again, Frank Wright being a quarterback whisperer, a good offensive guy, I guess he'll scheme something up not to make, Bryce Young have to make these crazy throws and do all these things to win games. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for Carolina.
He's got to avoid getting hit. We've seen Kyler Murray be out for the past couple of years.
Sure. Yeah.
Nagging injuries, and
they'll have to have.
He's smaller than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, they'll have to have a running game again. I don't know who they're running back this year. I don't know if it's, what's his name, Dante Foreman.
No, Miles
Sanders is there.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders is going to get a lot of the rock.
He doesn't like to stay on the fucking field either. So,
but I think he's going to get a lot of rock. I think that's. I don't know. I know we're not talking fantasy football, but that may be like kind of a sleeper running back to pick up because I think he's going to get the carries.
Keep the fantasy stuff to yourself. We don't need Leon picking up anything.
That's true. We do have our.
Did you sign up finally?
Yeah, I signed up.
Yeah, he did.
I haven't done anything else.
Yep.
I'm in like 4 leagues now. I think I've signed up for 1 and I haven't done anything else. So I'm that guy you have to wait on.
Well, our league is the most important.
Yeah,
yes,
yes,
it is.
Shifting to the AFC South. I'll just start off here. I think this might be the most cut and dry division in football. I think it's Jacksonville and everyone else by a wide margin. I think Trevor Lawrence showed who he is last year. I think he has an opportunity this year to take a step and show that he's one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in the NFL. He's got a great supporting cast, which now has Calvin Ridley as well. From all accounts and everything I've seen,
awesome.
He looks good in camp. Just keep him away from the FanDuel. They got Tank Bigsby. They lose Cam Robinson for the first 4 games of the season on the offensive line. That hurts there a little bit. But, flipping on the defensive side of the ball, you got Josh Allen, who's in the contract year. He's on the ball a lot to try to get his money. In Trayvon Walker, there Tyson Campbell in the secondary. That's a solid team all the way around. They're very well coached. And I think, I look at them as like Cincinnati a couple years ago. Like Jacksonville's on that cusp.
Their first year where they were.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of momentum in that organization right now. They got a new practice facility and everything there.
I don't
a lot
hate
of
that
positive
comparison.
things. I look at that. That's a team that's on the upswing, and it's their division running away.
I like it.
I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Lost your fucking mind.
I think Tennessee, this is like their last fail swoop. They know that they're probably not going to be able to keep Derrick Henry because last year of his contract, he's getting older. King Henry will probably ask for more money than probably willing to give him. So they, I think that's going to make King Henry motivated to have another great season, to get the next contract. And then of course they have DeAndre Hopkins. I like that. I think what's his name? Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
Is going to get better. Him not being a number 1, I think it's going to help him extremely.
Who better to learn from than DeAndre Hopkins?
Right. Yeah.
I could give a few, but sure.
Tennessee. Yeah, I remember their defense is always going to be solid because Vrabel is going to have them decent. They were 7-3 last year. If everybody forgot.
Yep.
And then they kind of just fell apart once Tannehill got hurt, and they just had a bunch of issues, and they kind of limped their way to the final game against Jacksonville, which they lost, of course, which they almost pulled it off. So, it's a long shot. I'm not saying it, but I would put some shekels down on the Titans. I think they're like plus 320. I think the last time I saw a line on them,
350 when I was
350. Okay,
yeah.
to win the
Jacksonville's like minus 155.
Right. I just think there's value there.
Did you think Tannehill keeps that job all year long? Obviously, he's the guy that's been injured before. You got Will Levis. You got Malik Willis, who obviously they don't fully believe in if they drafted Will Levis.
I just think how the season goes. I think if they start off fast, I think Vrabel's not going to spit the bit and be like, we got to play Levis. I think
Vrabel does not give a fuck. He just wants to win.
Yeah, I think Vrabel kind of knows that I'm going to have to rebuild at one point, and this is probably going to be the best team I'm going to have in the next 3 or 4 years. Till one of these quarterbacks step up and King Henry's gone and, Hopkins, he'll start declining. Of course, he's just older. So I think they're going to make one more push at it, and I think they may get it done. Who knows?
Oh, I think you're fucking out of your mind.
All right.
Tennessee is where Hall of Fame wide receivers go to die.
True.
Julio, Randy Moss. It's DeAndre Hopkins is not going to do anything. Tannehill is never been that good anyways.
Yeah.
Don't see Levis coming in and doing shit.
No, I don't expect anything out of him this year.
Malik Willis, apparently not good, or else he would have taken that job and they wouldn't have drafted Levis. So.
Second on the depth chart.
Well,
apparently he's a cut candidate. So
we'll
see.
Derrick Henry's got to slow down eventually.
That's a lot of miles on that truck.
Why not now? I think Jacksonville runs away with it. I think Houston is actually going to be the second best team in that division. I really like DeMeco Ryans.
You believe in oh my God, the quarterback,
CJ
Stroud. Yeah.
I believe in him more than Bryce Young.
I almost pulled a Dan Patrick. Jesus Christ, my brain! I almost pulled a Colin Coward there a second ago.
Relax. But yeah, I think Houston is headed in the right direction. So I think they're going to be a very distant second place in this division. Jacksonville is going to run away with it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think they may be the first team to clinch this year, a division title.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be pretty. Though I will say we have some lovely uniforms when when the Titans throw back to the Oilers days.
That's
when they
right.
wear those.
That's
Those will
right.
be. So they got that going for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Never know.
You never know. All right, as we get ready to put a bow.
Did Scotti get to?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh, my bad. My bad,
You
Vladimir.
skipped right over me.
Leon is
Yeah.
like shutting down.
I
here.
thought you were saving the best for last.
Get the cluster bombs ready.
So I'm not picking them, but I do like Houston, but they're the same boat as Atlanta. I think they're a year away. It's not going to be a runaway. I think we're overhyping Jacksonville a little bit, and I keep going back and forth between Jacksonville and Tennessee. If I was betting, I would be betting on Tennessee.
Yeah,
Let's
because
go.
of the
But
value.
so it's going to come down. So they play the last game of the season, and the only reason why I'm picking Jacksonville to win the division is because I think Tennessee is going to be kind of worn down and have some injuries. I want to pick Tennessee. I can't do it. I'm going Jacksonville.
If you have to bet a whole paycheck, who are you putting it on?
But he's looking at it from a betting standpoint, though.
I don't bet a
So
whole
am
paycheck.
I. No, but I'm saying if you have to.
Well, I'm
Like,
picking,
who are
I'm,
you-
picking, I'm picking Jacksonville. So if I had to bet a whole paycheck, I
Right.
would do Jacksonville.
All right, then.
All right.
You're only picking
But if I'm
Tennessee
trying to
because
make-
of value.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think they're neck and neck, and Tennessee's plus 350 and
But
Jacksonville's
you're not
minus.
going to throw a whole unit on Tennessee.
No.
Okay.
Which is funny because, this whole time, not once has Indianapolis's name been mentioned.
Yeah, because
They're garbage.
Yeah,
They suck.
They're terrible. Like we don't.
It's a clown show.
We have no idea what's happening with Jonathan Taylor. Anthony Richardson's getting the reins there.
their fucking owner's batshit crazy and probably high on perks.
It's funny because now that Dan Snyder's out, he takes the reins as like the most batshit crazy.
Yeah,
owner in
and he was the
NFL,
one
right?
that spoke out against Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
It all comes full
Maybe that's
circle.
what he wanted.
Yeah, time to get him
He's
out.
got
He
all the
wanted a
attention
title.
now.
Yeah, well, he's got to fly
that
that. He's
throne.
got to fly that orca across the country or whatever. You got Shaq Leonard back, on defense, but there's just not a lot going on in Indianapolis. It's funny because you looked at that. That was like an organization for the last few years. It was like kind of like always scrappy, kind of like we're tough. They're going to play you well. I just don't see anything there right now.
If they can get Jonathan Taylor on the field, I like Michael Pittman. Anthony Richardson is going to take a couple years, but, I mean, you can't really take anything from training camp reports, but they're raving about him.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna poo poo him.
training
Yeah.
camp reports are like college
Right,
spring
exactly.
games. It's like, oh yeah, the spring game he looked great. Okay, so that means your defense is shit.
That's like
Right.
Leon
Well, he's
telling us
in-
about a bar.
Fuck you. I know bars. You take us to places where the floors are sticky. This podcast was birthed in a shit bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah, well, I don't think America is welcome for it. I don't know. We did cross 1 million views on that one Instagram.
Yeah, we did.
Video, so thank you for that, America.
Let's go.
right. Before
We're
we-
famous.
Before we get out of here with this monstrosity, you had something to say?
One
here?
more thing about Indy. Did y'all see the report that Kareem Hunt may land there?
Yeah, so on the way here, I saw that he was signing with the Saints.
He was
and then it's
him
now the
him
Colts.
and Anthony Barr visited the Saints and left without contracts today.
Okay.
But they said that part of the reason why Kareem Hunt didn't leave was because Indy's offering more money.
Interesting.
So
You would rather have a guy who kicked a girl down a flight of stairs and pay him more money than you're going to pay Jonathan Taylor for an
I
extension?
don't think they're paying.
well,
more
they're not
than-
paying him more.
Yeah.
But
That's just to get Taylor back in the
yeah, I
building,
mean, I get your point, but
I
yeah.
mean, come
think-
on now.
If you really want a guy, you don't let him walk out the building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Or do they really want him?
yeah, it might,
Or are they
you're
just
right,
trying to
could
get
just call
Taylor
him
back in
bluff.
the building? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to make your girlfriend jealous, and you start
Right.
talking about the ex or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not smart.
Yeah,
Let's not do that.
Well, it's her say. So.
All right, before we get out of here, let's wrap up on a couple of picks here as we cross the hour 18 minute here. We missed the picks last week because
Nobody gave a fuck.
yeah, well, it was also NASCAR in Richmond. That was a colossal drop the ball on our part there. But
Was it?
Yeah, NASCAR was in Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, was it last week or was it the week before
Oh,
last?
that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. It was in Richmond. That's when we didn't
Yeah.
have a show because something happened. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Chris was drunk.
That's never stopped us before.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we'll start off this week. PGA Tour first round of the FedEx Cup layoffs.
Oh, I had my guy.
No,
and now it's gone.
No Justin Thomas. I feel like I've heard that before. No Justin Thomas this week as they roll into the St. Jude Championship in lovely Memphis, Tennessee, TPC Southwind. Ryan, you look very pensive there. I'll start with you for your pick.
I'm going to go with, I think, the long overdue Colin Morikawa. He's 22-1 to win on, I want to say it's the CBS Sports page, but I think they go through Caesars.
I think so.
And but anyway, he's been playing a little bit better. I know he was in that playoff at the Rock and Mortgage a few weeks ago. He's due to win. I think he was top 5 finisher last year at this course at the FedEx. So I don't know. I have a feeling about him. Not that that means anything with golf, because my golf picks generally are terrible. But Morikawa, I'm gonna go with him this week.
Plus 2,500 on BetMGM if you want better odds.
There you go.
Noted.
Scotty, tell me why you picked Scotty Scheffler again this week.
I did not. I haven't picked him in a while. I thought about it, but no, I'm going to go Victor Hovland. Not a whole lot of analysis.
You've been riding him for the last couple of weeks, haven't you?
Have I?
I think so.
Look, the last couple his name has come up between the two of us. We've both been on Victor. Yeah. Any analysis there? Just
not really. He's been playing well. I don't know. Yeah.
Chris, whose name can you not
20-1
pronounce?
I got this. I've been eating a lot of Asian cuisine lately.
Oh, Jesus.
That might be
Going
racist.
There you are.
Wow, that's the first time that's button's been used today.
One of my brothers,
Look it up.
Byung Hoon An,
One of your brothers.
plus 6,600.
Did he pitch for the Diamondbacks?
That might be racist. Isn't he Korean?
That was Brung
Yes.
Kim, whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah, something
It
counts.
is-
Yeah, it was a Sidewinder.
That's Korean.
Yeah. What's the odds there?
Plus 6,600.
Okay, plus 6,600. I'm going with Sam Burns this week, coming in at plus 3,300 on BetMGM. Anytime they go down south to SEC country, he's there. Loves the Bermuda grass. T14 last week at the Wyndham Championship. He was a playoff loser in 2021 here. Backed up his efforts with a T20 here last year. One of the best putters in the game. I like him a lot. And he's also flirting with maybe getting a pick on that Ryder Cup team. I think he has a chance to make a name for himself here and kind of cement that he deserves to be in the upper echelon. So I'm going with Sam Burns at 33-1.
Okay.
All right. And lastly, NASCAR. Rolling.
You said we weren't picking NASCAR, motherfucker.
I said I was picking NASCAR.
No, you said we weren't.
Nah, you're never prepared. Just like college, just like school,
You're not wrong.
just like work.
Fuck.
NASCAR rolling into Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but the road course.
Oh, there's a road course there?
Yeah, there's a road course. There's a goddamn golf course in the infield at Indianapolis. It's massive.
How does that work?
I'll show you after the show's over. There's a golf course there on the on inside there. But this guy, I know he's my guy. I've been riding him all year. He is just tremendously disappointed.
Chase Elliott's not going to win.
Chase Elliott is as good as they get on the road course. He's plus 800 this week. It's checkers or wreckers these next few races.
700 on MGM right now.
Well, there we go. He can't race his way in. He can't race his way in on points. He has to win to get into the playoffs. Yeah. This is probably going to be his best shot on the road course here. He did not finish at Michigan in that rain-delayed completed race on Monday. He obviously crashed out on Sunday. I think he's got something to prove, and I think he's going to try to salvage what so far has been a nightmare of a season. I'm going to go with Chase Elliott.
I'm going to go the same person I pick on every road course, Martin Truex Jr.
Okay. That 19 looked real good last week in Michigan, yeah.
I don't know if I'll bet plus 400, but...
Ryan, you got somebody?
Again, I didn't do a lot of research for this one, but I don't know, man. I'll just go local. Denny Hamlin, 10-1 on Caesars. I don't know if he's the best road course guy, but I think he did decently well in Chicago. Did I hear that wrong? Okay.
All right, I got two.
He's 20-1 on
That's not bad.
DraftKings.
Okay.
Chris, tell me why you're picking Bubba Wallace.
I'm not. I got two. At plus 900, Shane Van Gisbergen.
That was the gentleman the road course ringer that won in Chicago.
Wait, why do you get 2 picks?
Because
All right,
I got my brother, Kamui Kobayashi.
I'm sorry.
Plus 8,000.
That might be racist.
How is he your brother?
I was expecting to hear a different last name.
Brother-in-law.
Oh.
That might be racist.
Oh, my bad.
None of these people are the same ethnicity as his girlfriend either.
No.
That might be racist.
It's like Khan.
Hey,
It's like Khan Sufanusum phone.
she reps all Asians.
Yeah.
Remember when Khan showed up and they asked him, "So are you Chinese or Japanese?" He's like, "I'm in Laotian." I watched too much King of the Hill. Jesus Christ. All right.
Representing the Asian faction or on
Exactly. There's not a whole lot of them in NASCAR. So
It's a road course ringer. It's like the episode of Chappelle Show. Represent the black community.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Racial draft. We should have a racial draft on this show.
no, we should not.
Probably.
Nope.
That might be racist.
Absolutely not.
And on that unfortunate note, as my headphones proceed to fall behind my head here, I think it's time to put a bow on this lovely episode of this podcast.
This was fun. Let's do this again.
Maybe next Tuesday.
Hey, check us
do
out on
this.
YouTube. It might be up this week.
Hey, Chris.
What?
See you next Tuesday.
Or subscribe to the YouTube.